If you were hungry and money was tight, you could do worse than reach for a jar of peanut butter. And without wanting to incur the wrath of any healthy eating experts out there, I hear that a jar of the stuff, coupled with a glass of milk, can meet all your nutritional needs if times are really that tough. So, good news, that American classic, the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, the PB&J, is actually surprisingly good for you.
Oh, I'm peanut butter and you are jelly and we're...
Of course, when I said it was inexpensive, I meant when bought from a store. If you try to grow all the ingredients yourself, it suddenly becomes a lot more costly. In time, patience, the sweat on your brow... Not reasons enough to stop my next guest.
Hi, I'm Daniel Cashidan, and I am 10 years old. And I started at the garden when I was around 6 or 7.
That garden is the Oak Park Community Garden in Los Angeles, where Daniel's been developing his passion for growing things, helped along by his mum, Alison. But she wasn't on board with his project from the very beginning.
I actually discouraged it. I was just the driver, really. He would get out of school and say, we've got to go water the garden. So everyone's like, oh, you're doing this. I'm like, no, I have nothing to do with this. I am just the driver.
So as designated driver, you basically didn't want to drive to the garden every day?
Every day, especially in the summer. You have to go every day. And he'll offer to water other ladies' gardens, especially if some of the elderly women. There's one in particular who's not well, and so he'll go clear her garden. So he was very involved in this community.
Daniel started out growing gourds and then moved on to tomatoes and cilantro, which he used to make salsa. And then he decided to set himself a slightly tougher challenge.
Because it all started out when I thought, what's the point of this unless you can't actually make stuff with it? Then I discovered the idea of a PB&J because I had just had one. It's the easiest snack in America. How could it be so hard to grow? But we found out that it wasn't.
Okay.
Once we planted the blackberries, those were easy. Then we started on the wheat and peanuts.
It wasn't just fruit and peanuts. You growing the wheat for the bread as well?
Yes, I am.
Whoa.
And peanuts, about 1 out of 20 sprouted. And after about 2 months, it didn't make it. It got sunburnt in the Californian sun.
I've never heard of anyone trying to grow peanuts. Are they...
Neither of anyone else in the garden.
Have you discovered that maybe there's a reason for that?
Yes, I have. We've even talked to a local commercial farmer named Mr. Boscovich, and he says in California you go strawberries and spinach.
And you said, no, I want peanut butter. Who's heard of a strawberry and spinach sandwich?
Good point.
But you're still persevering with the peanuts. What's so hard about growing them?
They're just meant for in the South. It might just be the colder weather, or it might just be the humidity level. We don't know, but we're trying everything. I'm going to put them in a room with growing lights in our garage and put a humidifier in with them. If they actually sprout, I'm going to make a full cage. I might even use a wood frame to keep them with hinges, and then you put the frame under the ground, cover it with soil, and then plant the wheat in them.
Yes, the critters have been quite a problem. We first tried putting the peanuts directly into the ground. It was like a buffet. They just came and picked the peanuts right out of the ground.
What kind of animals?
Squirrels, rats, and grasshoppers. I've even tried putting up a protection plant. It actually worked. It got me my one pumpkin. You put up plants that like beans that are fast growing. You just give them that to eat, and then that feeds them for a little bit. And well, you have time for your other plant to grow.
So you trick them into eating something else instead?
Yes.
And you've tried 2 years running, right?
Yeah, but it's not like that's the only thing we've been growing. We've been growing gourds. We did everything in between with that as our main goal.
This is the third time we're going to attempt to get a peanut sprout. We just ordered it from Virginia, brand new peanut seeds. So this is it. We're gonna go for it this summer.
Okay, third time lucky.
Yes, third time's the charm.
And have you managed to get any wheat at all?
Yes, I have, but very small amounts. They're like a handful. It actually looks like it is in like movies. My mom's like, Daniel, come here. Look at the wheat. I'm like, where? Whoa!
How big a loaf of bread do you reckon you could get out of that?
Probably like 2 small pieces of flatbread. And we've also planted potatoes, and if we can also learn how to make potato bread, we have it covered.
So do you think it's changed your attitude to the food that you eat?
Well, what we've learned is that something that is so readily convenient now, it was actually maybe 100 years ago, even 50 years ago, quite a specialty item. It would have been a gourmet item maybe that wasn't available everywhere. And so it was one of those things where we were like, how hard could this be? And it's turned out to be really hard.
I'm peanut butter and you are jelly, and we're so happy on our little piece of bread.
Thanks to Daniel and his mum Alison. They've promised to send us a picture of that PB&J when they finally make it.
Peanut butter and raspberry jelly.